All right, guys, we're on the Upper Potomac today. Crazy storm's been rolling through here this week. We just came off of like 18 to like 20 feet rise in the river about a week ago from major high flooding, flood stage events, high water. The river went back down to about 5 feet or so, 4.5, 5 feet. Now it's rising back up to like 6 to 7 pretty quick. Crazy thunderstorms. We probably got more thunderstorms rolling in before we head into this weekend. Lots of events going on. We're going to be on the Smallmouth chasers are going to be on the Shenandoah River, which is also experiencing these overnight storms that are just pretty dropping a ton of rain. So it's going to be interesting to see how that things shape up down on the Shenandoah. But I'm on the Upper Potomac today. There's an event coming up this weekend. A couple events actually this weekend. Over the course of the weekend, featuring the Upper Potomac watershed. And water's been kind of, clarity's been bad. Can't seem to like get anything straight. The Smallies have been moving shallow, then they moved back to the middle river about early this week. Now they're back shallow again. Just talked to a guy who had about 90 inches, his best 5 this morning. We're about midday, starting to rain again. We got folks putting in, man, with this rising water. If you live on the Upper Potomac watershed, at least down towards Montgomery County, Maryland, you know that guys are coming with their whitewater gear. These guys are nuts. They're crazy. They love the high water. I'm going to show you some shots here of the Upper Potomac right now. We got some guys putting in right here that are going to shoot the rapids down here at Old Dam 2. I'm at Violet's Lock on the Maryland side. Casino Canal towpath goes from DC all the way up into Maryland. Really great easy access float. A lot of people sleep on this section. I'm going to highlight in part 2 all the catches post-COVID, the best spots that I have found with my catches. And we're going to talk about some baits, and we're going to talk about just the habitat and the spawns and everything that's happened. This year's spawn probably is a 20% spawn, man, because of that flood stage we had. What a lot of people sleep on about the Upper Potomac, and I think it's a little different than maybe some of the other river systems people are used to. And correct me if I'm wrong, this could happen on your river as well. I believe the Smallies on the Upper Potomac and the Monocacy spawn multiple times. I think it's evolutionary now. I think they are used to these flood stage events in the spring that they have a small spawn, then they have a bigger spawn. Because we did see some fry in April on the Upper Potomac, and then we had these high water events. And last year we had fry on the Upper Potomac in 2 specific sections that I'm going to highlight in video 2 in July. And I don't think that they were spawning. Here, I'll just flip this over and shoot some guys that are getting ready to shoot this gap right here. They heading down. This is what the folks do here in Maryland, man. If they're not fishing, they need to freaking go and get out here and paddle these chutes and do whatever they want to do to get down. But that's what happens, man. I mean, like, it's like people just show up, man, and freaking just dump in a lot of these areas, man. And it's probably going to rise another 1.5 foot, probably in the next 12 to 24 hours going into the big tournament weekend here. Along the whole watershed, all the way up to Hancock, Paw all the way up river, man. They usually get it up there a lot worse in terms of the rain, in terms of the rising water, and then it works its way down here. And then where I'm at is I'm sitting on, just so you guys know, I'm on the Maryland side, Violet's Lock. I am across from Trump National. Trump National is right over there, okay, golf course on the Virginia side. And then, about a half a mile up from Trump National, up on the Virginia side, you see that light over there, go up about another half a mile up there, is Algonquin. Great access point. You can go upriver. Directly across from that, more or less, is Seneca Landing, which is about a mile up from where I'm standing right now up the towpath. Seneca Landing, jet boats go out of there. Bass boats go out of there. John boats, obviously all kayakers, everything goes out of that. A lot of guides go out of that from Maryland, and they go upriver. Okay, so there's a couple islands that hit up that way that I'll show on the map in part 2. Some really areas. I've gotten some citation smallmouth bass in that stretch. I've gotten some citation smallmouth bass right here above the dam in the middle of the river during the summertime. it's cooler in there. Because of that flow, there's some depressions that are about 4 or 5 feet deep, and the rest of the river will be like 2.5 or 3 feet. But then there'll be these depressions are about 15 by 15, 10 yards by 10 yards or 15 by 15, and they'll get in there and they'll stack up. It's just a great time when the fish are moving middle river. But during what we've seen for the last month or so is the fish have been been pushed shallow because of this high water. Okay, and looks like they're stuck. That's not good. Might have to go over there and help them out. Well, it looks like they got it. And so the smallmouth get pushed shallow, okay, and which is great come tournament time, right? These events come up this weekend. Fully expect. I talked to a guy earlier this morning. He's been catching 88 inches each morning, and that was before we got this rising water. With this rising water and pushing the smallies shallow, don't sleep on this river in conditions like this. Now, when it gets above 8 feet or more, then you're in a little bit of a red zone where it's unsafe. But when you're in that 5 to 8 feet, it pushes the smallies shallow, and come tournament day, you're going to see big bags. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, what's a big bag, Jay? Well, I'm talking 95 inches, okay? And a lot of people don't think about that when they think about the upper Potomac. They don't think about 90-inch bags for kayak events. But that is what you're going to see, okay? Because the fish are shallow. They're much harder to catch middle river, June, July, August, than they are when they get pushed shallow. When they get pushed shallow, they want to feed, okay? And they're up there for a reason. Okay, they don't want to be middle river with that rising water. That current flow coming down the river is pushing them towards the banks, the creeks, mouths, the tribs. Those are where you're going to find the smallies right now. Mouth of creeks, mouth at Goose Creek, mouth at Monocacy, mouth at Antietam Creek, Cococton Creek. Oh, that's where you're going to find them. Okay, because they're getting pushed to the creeks for safety and security. It's a survival instinct to get out of the middle river with all that current flow, and plus just timber, grass, everything being pushed down. All right? And so, I don't know what's going on with them. But this is Violet's Lock right here. We got Old Dam 2, which is right through that tree line right there. Okay, Old Dam 2 stretches all the way across to the Virginia side. It was an old dam. A lot of cavalry movements during the Civil War took place here because it can get really shallow. Right below here. Seneca Breaks are right below Old Dam 2. A lot of times they could be like 1.5 feet, lots of rocks. It was a shallow part back in the day. A lot of rocks got dumped there during when the creation of the canal and stuff. So it's a pretty, a lot of people like to whitewater, like to kayak it. Fishing can be kind of tough in the breaks just because there's a lot less water. But once you get beyond the breaks, it's great fishing. I'll highlight that in the second video. But you got the lock system in the canal, which we walked over, and I'll show when we walk back, with the canal lock, which is right there where those gentlemen are up top. That's the canal right there, the canal lock, almost always closed. And you would think it would be open, right, because of this high water coming down to throw some water into that canal, but that canal's full already. And so we'll show you that. But you can just kind of see here, like I said, Seneca Landing on the right, Algonquin across the river, Trump National across the river on the other side, and then right here, Old Dam 2. And I'll kind of show you as we'll go through here, and you can see this whitewater, this action. Normally this is maybe 2 feet, guys, 2.5 feet, which is where we launch right here. If we want to fish, above the Old Dam 2, during the summertime, we'll launch right here. It's a great little spot. Like I said, it's usually 2 feet less than it is right now. And then we'll head straight up there, out around the bend, and fish above the dam. If we want to fish below the dam, you can certainly go and shoot the gap like they tried to do right here and but the current's just killing them. But a lot of times we'll go on the other side of the Old Dam 2 from the towpath. We'll go about 200 yards down, and we'll launch there, which puts us below the breaks, okay? And that way you don't have to deal with the breaks, and then you can fish all below the breaks. You can go run down to Pennyfield, run down to Swains, run down to Rivers View on the Virginia side. Really great floats. But you can kind of see it right here Looks like they might have gotten stuck. He got that kayak stuck. I'm gonna go see if they need some help. I'm gonna see if I can help them after I get this video. I'll show you this real quick. So the lock's right behind me. I think kayak got some inflatable kayak, man. It got pinned underneath those branches. That's what happens, man. You got to watch the current flow. This is still yellow, man. This is like green to yellow. Okay, by Saturday, by the weekend, it's going to be red, and the only people going to be out here are going to be the crazies. Okay, who want to be whitewater, especially when you get down below here. If you go downriver from here, you're approaching Great Falls, and those guys are Looney Tunes. That's just what happens with those guys. And it can be kind of treacherous, man. So, we tend to avoid those areas as anglers as much as possible. But the whitewater guys, they tend to like to do crazy stuff from Old Anglers Inn all the way down to Great Falls and below Great Falls into DC. But that's it. That's just an update here from one, like I said, Violet's Lock. Right here. You got a whole bunch of folks stacking up here too. But that's it. That's part one. Tune back part two. I want to show you some fish.